What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of 27 and
Mhm.
Q with that man right there. There he is. He's all ready to go. No brim tonight, no hat, clean shaven, looking good.
I'm
Number
here, man. I'm
27,
here
an
for it.
all-time great with the New York Football Giants, two-time Super Bowl champ. Number 27, Brandon Jacobs. I'm Rich Quinones, and a lot of stuff to dive into. We appreciate everyone that's keeping downloading and checking out the YouTube channel and downloading on Buzzsprout, on Amazon Music and iTunes. So we definitely appreciate the love and the feedback as well. Week 13 in the NFL. We'll get into that. Little NBA, little boxing, a little what's going on with some of these NFL quarterbacks. But big man, you had a busy weekend. How was your Thanksgiving, by the way?
Man, my Thanksgiving was absolutely phenomenal. It was last minute, but it was phenomenal. Which Thanksgiving wasn't last minute because it's the same time every year, but it was last minute on planning, and we whipped it up in a couple of days. Had some people come over from the team, and some families that we could, we consider family,
Nice.
uh, came over, man, and just broke bread and just enjoyed each other's conversation. Just fellowship. It was great.
And you guys had a good weekend on the gridiron.
Great weekend on the gridiron. The St. Francis Knights is headed to the semifinals. One game before the state championship. The boys just went out and dominated. They scored in the third play of the game, and they just kept going after that. It was just nothing. The score ended up being 37-21, but they got two trash touchdowns on backups toward the end of the game, and
Little window dressing.
yeah, a little window dressing, make it look a little bit better. It was 37-7 in my mind, but they just came out, kicked their ass, and just got rid of it, man. It was a joy to see.
Um, yeah, I mean, my turkey didn't go down very well on Thursday watching the Giants and Big D.
Oh man, I've learned a long time ago that you cannot let the Giants dictate your feelings, man. They're a bunch of 20-something-year-old guys, man. Didn't bother me not one bit.
You were probably well, I know you were having a little spicy margarita probably by halftime.
Spicy margarita, had a little hookah fired up.
There you go.
Yeah,
I'm curious. Let me get your thoughts on this. I mean, I didn't expect them to go in there and win the game. They're still right where they need to be at 7-4. They still have a boatload of injuries. It might be the biggest tease in the world if Odell doesn't sign, right? Because it seems as though he knows what he's doing, right? He's teasing, he's flirting with maybe the Cowboys or the Bills or the Rams and then the Giants, and he's back in the building and he's close with Shepard and Saquon. And that would be all well and good. We don't know what he's going to give when he's on the field, but obviously it's an upgrade to these wide receivers. I want to ask you from a running back standpoint, Saquon, he had that big performance against Houston. I think 30 something odd carries, a buck 52. Then against a 31st ranked run defense in the Lions, couldn't run. And then last weekend against Dallas, couldn't run. Now, again, there's thought out there that maybe he's injured, maybe he's banged up. I'm just wondering, is it possible he's gassed at this time of year? I mean, no one's ever 100% healthy.
No, I don't think he's gassed. I just think, at this point in the year, people find out how to stop the run. I don't want to be ran on at this time of year. It's cold outside. Teams are going to resort to the run, especially with a guy that was talent like Saquon. So they're going to sell out on stopping the run. I think our biggest problem is, as the New York Giants, is we don't have that big play wide receiver. Slayton has made some plays down the stretch here for the Giants, but I don't think there's enough to pull an extra defender out of the box. So Saquon is going to continue to struggle the rest of the season because of the lack of winning on the outside.
So, yeah, it is funny, man. I mean, you can want to run, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to run, right? I mean, when you played, you guys were a run-heavy team, and it opened up the play action.
Mm-hmm.
But I can recall some games where it was tough to maybe get that yard, get that 2, get that 3, when everyone in the stadium and the opposition and the defense knows they're going to hand off to 27. They're going to hand off to 44. Like, they knew ahead of time what was going on. I just think for this team to be successful finishing out the year and maybe have an opportunity to get to the playoffs right now, they're sitting at the 6th seed. They can still control pretty nice aspect of it, win some of these games coming up, maybe get to that magic number of 10. They're going to have to find a way to just run the football, like soften them up, 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, because I don't think this quarterback is equipped, as you mentioned, B, with the lack of weapons to get in 3rd and long, because that's when defenses pin their ears back.
Right. Well, it's just it's always a with the Giants, man. They're just always going to do enough. I think, and I think we do need a guy that can. We need to be able to run the ball. I think we need a quick game as well. I don't think we have any quick game because Daniel Jones has dropped back and he's looking down the field, and sometimes he takes off running. So we don't have a quick game, and I think that's some stuff that open up the run as well as the pass, quick passes. Drop back, 3-step drop. Just get 6-7 yards on the pass. Just keep the drive alive. Just have longer drives, and that's not a lot of stuff that I've seen, in the last couple of years actually. But I just think as long as we don't have a big play guy, man, I think it's gonna be hard for us to continue winning. I've been happy with the Giants have had so far. I love the team, love the organization, but you got to call it what it is, man. And right now, I just don't see too much offensive. We've been winning these games ugly.
They're void of talent. They're void of talent where they need to have some talent. You're right. And it's smoke and mirrors.
I think the coaches have done a phenomenal job of putting the team in a position to be where they are now. Right. Yeah. So I think with the coaches that we have, I think the future is very bright for the Giants, given the fact that we can get some guys in and make some big plays.
They're 2.5-point dogs at home. Daniel Jones has very good games against Washington in his career. Washington has just come on strong, right? They're doing it with their quarterback. They're running the ball. They're doing it with their defense as well. Is it tough to gauge Daniel Jones? And you look at his numbers on the surface, right? It seems it's never really black or white, or there's no gray sometimes. It's not cut or dry. Like, how can I sit here and give an honest assessment of them and say, well, the offensive line again got hurt. The tight end got hurt. The weapons that they thought they can rely on haven't panned out. You trade Tony, Shepard goes down, Slayton comes on late. Galladay he's on a milk carton. I see him when I'm having my cereal in the morning. He's missing. So, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you objectively and fairly gauge the quarterback?
Oh, you can't. There's no way you judge Daniel Jones and tell if he's your franchise quarterback with this year's team. There's no way. If I was the Giants, I'd give him a 1-year deal. I may even franchise him for 1 year and play and give him some weapons around him. Go find a savvy vet who's up for free agency, which probably we won't be able to afford again because we still in the dumps from Galladay. But
$72 million.
I think making that deal with Galladay, man, kind of set us back for years.
$72 million.
$72 million.
And he hasn't touched the end zone.
Right. And you make a guy like Slayton take a pay cut.
And he's just went about his business and he's played really well. Right. And he's come on late. He had the big, nice catch where he went up and got it against the Cowboys. But look, Odell, whether he's 85%, 90%, he opens things up. It's like that threat of having a ground game where you have to try to stack the box because you think you might have a guy break one. So what happens is we stack it now. Let's try to go over the top. And the same thing when you play, man. Think about it. You had good wide receivers. These guys, they were physical. They moved the change. They were, whether it was Steve Smith or Amani possession guys, whether it was you beat them over the top, Hakeem or Victor or Mario, good tight end play. And, it made the ground game that much more easier. It made the passing game that much more easier. To go exactly what you said, and you're 100% accurate. They are who we thought they are. They're winning ugly, low-scoring games, and it's been a nice story, and now you're really going to see. But I look at the season as a success. I wasn't gauging this year a success or failure if they made the playoffs. I wanted to see Saquon healthy, and I wanted to see Daniel Jones take that next step. And so far, to be fair, I would say an A for Saquon and maybe a B- for Daniel Jones.
Absolutely. I would agree with that assessment 100%. Like I said, you can't judge if Daniel Jones is your franchise quarterback off of this year. Having real weapons around him. He made half the plays. If you think about it, I mean, Daniel Jones made half the plays. He made a lot of plays on the ground. He made some good throws.
Yeah.
Had a lot of drops this year. I said shit. Go back in that thing with Daniel and make it do what it do next year with a. I still, like I said, I'm still thinking we can't even get a legit weapon because we still got so much money out there. So
Yeah, if you don't have it, you can't.
As much as I love Dave Gettleman, right? He's my guy, one of the greatest guys I've ever came across throughout my professional tenure. Just one hell of a guy. But given that kind of deal, that's not it.
A lot of hits, and then there's always some misses. I get it. The other quarterback in New York sitting and watching, and Zach Wilson. And I don't know, man. You saw Mike White the other day. He played well. I think you ride it out. I think feelings be damned. That's the other thing. Like, it's okay to bench a young quarterback.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
No, it's not the end of the world. I mean, some of them need it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess in some cases, Zach thought his shit didn't stink, so the Jets wanted to show him your shit does stink like everyone else in this metropolitan area.
How would you felt if you're a defensive player? Now, hell, you're an offensive player, and the quarterback goes up there and literally someone says, "Hey, in essence, let me just, to paraphrase, someone asked me, what'd you think of the offense? Well, to be honest, our backs really didn't do anything." Like that. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I can tell. I mean, I see where it'd be a problem, but I didn't think they bench him for that, though. I mean,
I did.
If you think that, you put the defense in a compromising, position, and he said no. I wouldn't answer the question like that, but
if you're playing poorly, though,
yeah, I had no idea he was playing as bad as he was with the team winning.
77 freaking yards.
5-2 as a starter, though. Now,
what's that?
He was 5-2 as a starter, wasn't he?
No doubt. But the defense, he had two bad games, and well, a couple, but the two that were pronounced were against the Pats, and one he threw for 77 yards.
Yeah,
and that it just so happened after that game. Hey, do you think the offense let the defense down? No. I mean, just take one for the team, man. Yeah, it might be a quarterback theme kind of show. So let me ask you this: did you see two quarterbacks? And by the way, how about Jacksonville? TL, the long hair, flowing locks, Trevor Lawrence right down the field against Baltimore, and then Dougie P saying, "Tie be damned, let's go for two."
And he did it, man. That's balls. Guy's balls dragging the floor right now.
That's a bad loss by Baltimore, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you saw this. Lamar Jackson, someone I guess tagged him in a tweet and basically said, you're paying a guy like this. He's stinking up the joint, making some plays, and Lamar Jackson just torched this guy. Went after him.
I didn't hear about this. I didn't hear about this when you brought it up earlier. I didn't hear about it because all I could think about is me going at it with somebody on Twitter. But
would you have when you were playing?
I've done it many times.
The only thing I remember you did, and it's when you weren't. I don't think you were happy with how you were being utilized in San Francisco. And I remember.
Right. No, that was when I was playing. I barely got in any altercations with fans over Twitter.
That's what I'm saying.
Just recently, I did tell a guy he was just talking about he was being real disrespectful over this old Kyrie Irving stuff. And he called me something, and I said, I saw
what you wrote.
You saw what I told him. I'm like, dude, your dad should have shot you in the toilet, man. But he should have really shot you in the toilet. You are less of a human being than me. I felt kind of bad, but then he kept coming, and another guy said something, and I'm like, I wanted to tell him something bad, but I'm like, this is gonna be bad, so let me just log off. What did Lamar Jackson say? Like, what did he say to the guy?
So I'm trying to pull it up because ESPN took it and all of a sudden they ran with it. So this guy tweeted at him, when someone is asking for over 250 million guaranteed, like LJ_ERA8, Lamar Jackson, games like this should not come down to, I guess he's referring to Justin Tucker. Let Lamar walk and spend that money on a well-rounded team. Now, granted, he tagged him, right? This is like if I go, at you, right? Or, at Rich Q on Q. So he responded, boy, STFU, y'all be capping too much on this app. Mother effer never smelled a football field, never did shit but eat a dick. So,
That ain't too bad.
yeah, it's not. I mean, it's
The
not
whole
like
problem. The whole problem
yeah,
is people take guys like Lamar Jackson and put them in a court. Like they a lot of people got it misconstrued how a quarterback is supposed to act because of what the league has seen in the past. Right? A quarterback's supposed to be bigger. He's supposed to rise above the bullshit, right? Okay, nobody's just gonna sit and let you destroy them like that. Like that's not gonna happen. I mean, a lot of guys want. I mean, Eli took a lot of it, but at the end of the day, I mean, I know some of the stuff that was said, he had to feel it, but at the end, a lot of guys just not going to sit and stand for some of the verbal abuse that they get from some of these fans, man. Like some of these fans they're besides themselves, and it's bad. Like it's bad. So man, he didn't say anything bad, but what people need to stop doing is putting people in this box because of what they play and what they do.
yeah. Well, that's the problem with social media. That's the problem with it, because all of a sudden someone can say, again, like the Kyrie, like whomever, look, you have opinions on social media, but I've come to know Brandon Jacobs as the person. So your opinion doesn't lessen you as a person, so to speak, to some extent, like when it comes to certain things, like you have an opinion. So, and you like to poke the bear a little bit. And I can appreciate that. I'm all for poking the bear. You poke the bear a lot.
Dude, I poke his big ass until he, and then I just roll back. And then
by the way, speaking of calling out, how about this? Patrick Peterson was on a pod and said, Kyler Murray doesn't care about anybody but Kyler Murray. So then Murray gets on Twitter and says, this isn't true. You're on some weird shit. You got my number. If you really felt this as a big bro or mentor, you're supposed to call me and tell me, not drag me to your podcast so your podcast can grow. So it was on his podcast, actually, Patrick Peterson. Like, what is going on, man? It's like free reign.
It's the world of podcasts, and I love Patrick Peterson, but I think Kyler may be right. I think he may be right. I mean, he know what to say to get some views, to get the clicking going. I mean, and that's what it's about. Pat Pete's not a stupid guy. I mean, I probably would have done something too. I might have something coming up here if we don't get the views that we need to get on 27 and Q. In a couple of weeks, I might be talking about somebody. So, you never know, man.
It's a ringing endorsement, makes me feel better. All right, let me get it. I think I got put on notice. Russell Wilson. So you heard
I know play with Russell. People I know play with Russell Wilson absolutely hates him. People I know play with Russell Wilson absolutely hates him. Like they said, and I heard you say something earlier about he was pissed because only a certain amount of people showed up to his party.
They had a birthday party and apparently only half his teammates. It made me think of that scene in the movie Draft Day, which was horrible, where that quarterback, Bo Callahan, no one showed up to his party. Like, what does that mean? Honestly.
Because people don't want to RSVP to a fucking assistant. They want to RSVP to their teammate, their brother, who they sharing, who they playing with. The guy's got to go through his assistant to get to him. I'm sitting right next to you in my locker, bro. Like you sitting next to me. We locker mates. And when I'm going to call you, when I'm not in this facility, I got to call your assistant. What type of shit is that?
You know that to be fact.
I've heard it from people that played with him.
So it's not like you turn around and texting one of your guys, OC or Tuck or Eli or Ahmad. It's go through my guy.
Go through my assistant. What is he? Wow. I mean, I don't know Russell Wilson personally, but I think that's bullshit. And you don't treat your teammates that way. So that's probably why no one showed up. It's bigger than the world,
That's a $240 million mistake, man. Let Russ cook. He's not a right fit. It's not a good fit. You've got that head coach that's going to be out of a job as soon as the season ends. They're 3-8. They're going against the Ravens, who are pissed off and ticked off because they just lost to Jacksonville. They're laying 9 in that one. I know Lamar Jackson's a little banged up with a thigh or something like that. They're going to get destroyed. And then Wilson's going to put up his shit numbers, and he's going to sit there and what does he say? Bronco ball at the end or whatever the hell he says at a press conference. When you're 3-9 and you're losing by 15, 20 points, 25 points, nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah. Would you take Russell Wilson in New York if you had a chance to get him?
No, I wouldn't, because now I'm seeing it. And I was one of those. I was a proponent, and I came out and said, well, if he's available, you might as well kick the tires with him. But now that, and I watch a lot of these games, man, and I focus on a guy like Russell Wilson, because to me, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. 11 games of crap football is not going to make me say Russell Wilson's not a Hall of Fame quarterback. No, I would not. I
agree. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, before as well,
But is it his personality? Like, would that rub you the wrong way? Like, how do you he had a defensive player scream and bark at him on the sidelines. That was very pronounced and prominent and noticed. Like, I don't know, man. When I see stuff like that, the ship is sinking, and that's not good. Then you get that divided locker room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I know a lot of guys I know a few. Well, I shouldn't say a lot of guys. I know a few guys that play with Russ, man, and a lot of guys, didn't have too much great things to say about him, man. I'll see a good guy because I don't know him. I see a guy present himself as a really good dude, really a great humanity, like a good dude, a good man, right? I don't know him. Again, I never been in a locker room with him, but a lot of guys I know, but some of the guys I know, man, say, nah, this is BS, man. You got to go through this to talk to him. I'm like, wow. Shocked the shit out of me when I heard that.
Is it possible he's just trying to be something he's not? He's just trying to play a different part. And maybe Pete Carroll knew something that we didn't know, right?
I don't know, man. I have no idea what Pete Carroll may have known, but I just know Denver Broncos are cooked. Like you say, they're cooked. They're staking up the joint. And there's nothing good. They're not showing anything good. I mean, from a guy trying to kick a 64-yard field goal, versus go for 4th and 5, early in the season. I knew they were going to be doomed then.
Great point.
I knew they were going to be doomed then.
Right. I signed this guy for $240 million, and I'm going to take the ball out of his hands.
Take the ball out of his hand and try a 64-yard field goal on 4th and 5.
That's gutless.
Gutless.
That's gutless.
Come on, Nathaniel.
Yeah, well, listen, he's going to be out of a job, man. Green Bay's kind of limping through the finish line. They made it competitive against the Eagles, man. I'll tell you, you called it weeks ago with the Philadelphia Eagles. If I were to say right now, MVP, Mahomes, Josh Allen, let's throw Micah Parsons in there. Where do you stick Jalen Hurts?
Right in there with him. He probably right in there with him, man. He is. Look at what he's doing. He's running the ball. He's demanding. He's leading the team to a great place, man. I don't know, man. I got to give Jalen Hurts a shot at MVP. If I'm a voter, I got to give it to him, man. I got to vote for him. I have to. It's hard not to.
He's making sound decisions. He's not turning the ball over, and his legs are just ridiculous. He ran for $157. It was an Eagles franchise record. They ran for 300. Like, you can appreciate that. You get to the playoff time and you can run like that. I think the only team that can go in Philly the way they're presently constructed and give them a game and maybe beat them would be San Francisco because of their defense.
I agree 100%.
I don't know about Minnesota, Tampa Bay, Dallas, no disrespect to the Giants. I don't see it. Offense, Washington. I can't really think of any of these teams that, and I listen, it's going to pay me when they get home field advantage and then they friggin' win a game and then they host the NFC Championship. I just,
it's going to be hard to beat them, man.
Yeah, it is. It's a perfect example, right? Where you got these young quarterbacks and some of them are flourishing, some of them are struggling. And it's just weird. Even some of these veterans, like, I don't know, you want to take the ball out of some of these veteran quarterbacks' hands. It makes no sense to me. It really doesn't. I mean, and then you got a bunch of free agent guys coming up in the offseason, quarterback wise, where
who's up? Yeah. What starter is up for free agency other than Daniel Jones?
So Carr, potential free agent. Jimmy Garoppolo, potential free agent.
That might be a good option for Bernice Rutherford.
I like Carr
Me
and I
too.
like Jimmy Garoppolo too, but I it's it's tough for me to sit here and say that they're going to give up on Daniel Jones. I don't know, man. I just go by what I hear,
I
what I
would
see
definitely
out
give
here.
Daniel Jones another year, man. I would definitely give him another year and go from there. Man, think about it, man. The poor guy didn't have anything to work with like other than Saquon, and Slayton just came alive. Like I said earlier, he's came alive. Last few weeks making some big plays. So like outside of that, man, he don't have a whole lot of options.
And they don't have money. And
They
Lamar
don't have money
Jackson,
because they lit it on fire when they signed Galladay.
yeah, Jones unrestricted free agent. Brady, Mayfield, Darnold, Garoppolo, Bridgewater, Jones, Case Keenum, Brissett, Geno Smith, Flacco, Dalton, the water pistol, Mike White, Henneke, Lamar Jackson. So you're talking market value. And then there's a bunch of other guys.
There is no $100 million men in that group you just named.
There's no what?
There's no $100 million men in that group you just named.
What do you think Lamar Jackson's going to want?
Oh, outside of him, he's definitely gonna get that. I just don't know where he's gonna get it from.
Wouldn't it be something if Brady went back to New England? Because I don't think Mac Jones is the answer. And then Aaron Rodgers waived no trade, even though you're stuck with that contract and that money, and went to San Francisco. See, I think San Francisco, and you feel bad for the kid Trey Lance, but it was probably the smartest thing in the world that they didn't trade Jimmy Garoppolo or get rid of him.
Absolutely, they had the best quarterback situation, and when Trey Lance
Yeah.
went down, you back to your starter from last year. No, he's not. It's not the prettiest, but they're comfortable.
Yeah.
There's no wondering what he's gonna do.
You been following any of the NBA of late?
I have not, man. I've been kind of staying away from the NBA, over the whole Kyrie situation, but he's back now.
Fair enough. I was just gonna say your
start focusing.
Lakers started to win a couple games here and there. That's all.
Westbrook about to get a ring. I'm telling you.
It ain't happening. Hey, let me ask you something, because you posted this, and I wanted to get your opinion, or I wanted to get your take on this, your thought about these offer letters coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what your son's right, and then what happens is a new coaching staff comes in, they can pull those offer letters.
They don't pull them. However, it's not a deny or a pull type situation, right? So Auburn University offered my son and Big Nick. Auburn offered both of those guys, right? That old coaching staff is kind of like the old regime type. Coach Will Friend, came, loved my son, loved Nick, offered him a full ride. So now, Coach Harsin and his staff gets fired from Auburn. Now those offers goes away because that new staff coming in didn't offer them yet. So I think they would have to be re-offered by Auburn, new coaching staff, in order to retain that offer.
So I thought it was interesting. You mentioned stuff about, I guess people trying to help get kids recruited.
Right. So it's all of these guys that form these scouting services. There's a guy behind a computer with three letters, and a LLC behind what he does. And he starts saying he's reaching out to coaches, he's doing this, he's doing that, and telling parents that, okay, you sign up and you pay this much of money, we're going to get your son film out to the same damn people you as a parent can get your son film out. So there's emails all over the place. So it's not real, and it's just a money grab. And there's people taking advantage of parents who really want their son, and the people who get really mainly taking advantage of these single moms. They really take advantage of those ladies because they don't know much about the game. Some of them do, but they don't. But most of them don't know much about the game, and they working check to check, and they're paying this money to this guy to get their son recruited. That's just bullshit, and it's a money grab, and it's taking advantage of families.
I would imagine when you start calling out these guys and they kind of try to be manipulative or kind of they walk it back and backtrack, that's because they know people are onto them.
Right.
Full of shit.
Right. Absolutely.
What's the recourse? Like what's, all right, I give a guy $1,000, come take a look at my kid. And then all of a sudden it's fluff. I don't hear from him again. What do I do?
That's it. That's what it is. That's it. You give them the money and they send it out to a couple of people that you could have done.
Yeah.
Rivals is a recruiting service that works, right?
Yeah.
They put on camps, they record the camps, they do all of this big stuff, and it's free. You got to get an invite, but it's free. The university camps. If anybody out there watching this that got a kid that's getting recruited, take your kid to a university camp. They mostly happen throughout the month of June. Go to a university camp. You got the position coaches from that specific school working the drill. So there's no better person to put eyes on your son doing these drills and within this competition, during the camp to see than the position coach that will be the one offering the scholarship. So go to university camps. Any school that you're interested in or your son is interested in, you go there, you put in the University of Alabama prospect camp. It's going to come up. They're going to give you 3 or 4 different dates where you can go and register your son for that camp. You register your son. It's like 30, 40, 50 bucks. They have to charge you something to be on campus. They can't let you come and give you a shirt and everything else. They can't give you anything for free because it's illegal. So go there. You go to Louisiana State University. Prospect camp. Google it. It pops right up, and you go right there and go to the date you can go to, and you register your son for that camp, and you go to that camp where they're at that camp. Those position coaches for that school is working those drills, and the ones actually looking at your kids. You can't go wrong there, and it's very inexpensive. So there you guys go. Free game.
That's good stuff. CFP latest top 4: USC, Georgia, Michigan, TCU. I mean, if you look at the 6, Georgia, Michigan, TCU, USC, Ohio State, Alabama. I'm looking right now. TCU's got Kansas State, right?
They played them already. They beat them.
Yeah, well, they're going to play again.
Oh, that was just a regular season. Yeah, they beat the hell out of them in the regular season. Well, they playing again for the Big 12 championship now.
That's right.
In Dallas,
That's Saturday. Okay. LSU plays Georgia. UCF plays Tulane, Purdue, Michigan, Clemson, North Carolina. Explain this to me. So, what was it? Alabama? No. So USC right now, if we said 4, so if they lost to Utah, that's 2 losses to Utah. That would put then Utah in.
How would that put them in? And they're not even
because if they beat USC twice.
So they're supposed to jump?
That's what I'm asking you.
No, that won't happen like that. The people who's in the best position right now is actually Alabama. They don't have a game left to play. So all they got to do is sit and wait for 1 or 2 of those guys to lose in the conference championship, and they'd be right in there, the top 4.
I just don't like the way. I don't know, man. So what happens if? So let's just say if Utah beat USC, USC would have 2 losses, right?
Mm-hmm. They'd get bumped out, and who's ever at 5 will move to 4. Who's ever at 6 move to 5. That's what happened.
Did you watch any of the Michigan Ohio State game?
It wasn't close.
I mean, you want to talk about. I mean, all those years, everyone got on Harbaugh, right? Go out there and what do you got to do? You got to beat Michigan State.
You got to beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
It's 2 years straight. I think he did it, right? Didn't he beat him last year too?
Yep. I'm looking at what's his name? Harrison's son, 7 catches, $120.
He's a beast.
Yeah. Yeah. Who do you think though still right now is Georgia, all around the best team in the country?
All around, yeah, got to be UGA, the best team in the country. They got their hands full. A lot of people don't think they got their hands full. But this Saturday, they got their hands full with LSU now. I'm telling you.
You think so?
I'm telling you. Yes, I'm telling you. Watch.
Let me pull that. What's that line on that game? It's got to be double digits.
It's going to be double digits. It's going to be that because somebody behind the computer never stepped on the field. So
let me see.
I wouldn't be surprised.
17.5.
Yeah, I can see that.
You can see LSU covering that game, or you see Georgia beat them by 17.
Hell no, Georgia ain't going to beat them by 17.
They're not, or they are?
They're not going to beat them by 17 if they even beat them. Kids, you don't see it, huh?
I see a 35-13 game.
You got to be pissing on me telling me it's raining.
It is. East Coast, it is starting to come down a little bit.
You
What do
got
you
to be
think?
shitting me.
I thought you're. Well, yeah, I know you're a Georgia fan, but I know you're also an LSU guy. I get it. Yeah, I don't see it, man.
It's going to be a good football game, and I can't give you 17 and a half. I can't do that.
Listen, I know we got a couple
I'm going
minutes.
to take that bet, by the way.
Okay.
I'm going to take that bet.
Taken.
Definitely going to.
Your boys fighting this weekend. I like how you sent me a clip, and it basically is what we talk about. He's just talking about his height and his build, and he looks like
there's no build now. So
let's not go there
with it.
That's what I was about to say. He looks like an old school, like a he's got a old time carpenter right there drinking some MGDs or whatever. I don't even need to watch this fight. This is his swan song. He's not losing this fight against.
No, he's not. I got a guy on my Instagram, and he's arguing in place of AJ, saying Tyson Fury is running from Anthony Joshua. So I'm like, you asked me, and I called him. I call AJ a disgrace to boxing. Yes, I did do that. I did say that. I said he's the biggest disgrace he's a disgrace to the boxing world. The guy would say, how? I said he's 6'5", 245, 250 pounds, and he's losing all these small guys. He's losing all these small guys because he's never in shape. He replies back and says, what you mean he's not in shape? He's 6'5", you're ripped and buff. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm not talking about his physique. I'm talking about his stamina. He's always tired and he's always getting beat. I cannot look at a guy like that and put him on the same page, on the same level of Tyson Fury.
That's a good point.
I think Tyson Fury and both Wilder would destroy AJ. I think Wilder would destroy him. He's been running from him for a while. I think Wilder destroys Usyk. I think Wilder and Tyson Fury is the only two guys out there for each other right now. I need to see number 4.
What about Usyk?
I think Tyson Fury and Wilder stop Usyk.
So when he beats, let's just say, if it goes to form, he beats Chisora Saturday. I think that's in London. Usyk most likely would be the
mandatory.
Yeah. WBC champ, right? They would fight. And by the way, Fury actually said Cunningham was a better fighter than Usyk. And if you remember, when Fury beat Cunningham, he was coming off the loss to Adamek.
And Cunningham had Fury on the road. He had him on his
Knocked him down.
Yeah, had him on his heel.
Yeah. And then it was just this, dropping the elbows.
And he won the fight.
Well, my poor guy, USS. I would like to see Usyk and Fury. I think this is it, though. I kind of think it's a swan song. That's it. He came out and he said, my body's banged up. I'm not the same, this and that. All right, we get it. But you're also fighting a guy you took care of twice. Like, what do I need to see this for a third time?
I agree. I agree. What do you think coming up here with Ryan Garcia and Tank coming up here? Unless you want to talk about that at a later date, I'm good with that too.
No, just early thoughts. I mean, I look at it and say 50-50 toss-up right now. I think you got power against hand speed, man.
And power.
But
Ryan Garcia has hand speed. Ryan Garcia is a kind of the Tyson Fury of that division.
Yeah, I like Ryan Garcia.
I like both.
I like both.
5'11". He got reach. He's strong. He's fast.
And Tank's small. Yeah. Tank. Look, Ryan Garcia is smart enough where he's not going to try to come inside where Tank's going to uppercut him or try to connect him. So he's
trying to knock his head off his body, right? So I think he stays his distance and he pop his jab out and he box from afar.
Yeah.
Walk away with a decision.
But that's a fight, like I said, that's a fight that they, people want to see. Like even like the Crawford fight coming up. Really? Like,
I'm gonna watch it because I like Bud, but
oh, no doubt. No
it won't
doubt.
be
You watch
close.
it to
It won't be
watch.
close.
Yeah, but
His opponent is not bad. I mean, the guy's not a bad fighter, but I just think that, on a level of Bud or where he is, it just wasn't a good selection of fighter. Since the other guy didn't want to fight. So, just call him a spade, man.
I don't know. Listen, I don't think we're ever gonna know what
We're never gonna know. That fight is never gonna take place. If it does, it's gonna be at 154, and that's it. I think Arrow's actually gonna move up after this fight. He's fighting Keith Thurman, isn't he? And that's who he's fighting. He's been begging for a big shit. He's been begging for a payday too. So now he got one.
Yeah. Team Afimo's fighting in another week.
Who's he fighting?
Sandor Martin.
Why is he fighting him when you got Taylor sitting there without a opponent?
That's your get right tune up. Let me just get back out there. That's all that is.
Didn't Regis just fight?
Yep.
Going to fight coming up here?
Florida over the weekend. Stopped them. And then apparently I was reading their checks were bouncing left and right.
The fight check that he get paid for his purse bounced?
Yep. Yeah, he stopped them TKO. Yeah. But then there's like a bunch of fighters saying their checks from that one. I guess the people that, put in the bid for the purse, they bounced. That's not good.
That's crazy.
Because I think in that case, it was like $1 million or something. He got 240 extra for winning. And he went to go deposit in at the bank when he was in California. And I guess he went on Twitter and said it bounced. Yeah, so he just actually said 2 hours ago, he got 50% of his purse. So he's going to receive the other 50% tomorrow. The bank slowed it down because it was a new account and a lot of activity was on it. I mean, I don't know, man. It's a shame you can't like get the money up front, but it doesn't work like that. I get it. It's not like a guaranteed. Can you imagine you go into the bank on the 15th and your check from the Giants bounced?
Shit, I can't imagine that.
This is what he tweeted. I deposited my fight check Monday while I was in LA.
Because now I want double.
What's that?
I want double now.
Today, the bank emailed me saying the check bounced because of insufficient funds. Someone better find out what's going on before I click the F out.
Wow.
Why are they still being? That's another thing. I'm not saying pay him like. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess I can see why they're not going to pay in cash. See why they're paying by check.
No, they can't pay that much cash. I mean, think about him coming in there with an armor truck. They'll be set it off in that thing.
Would you have been paid in Bitcoin?
Hell no. I would never done nothing stupid like that. Hell no. Shit, man.
What about like AMC or GME stock?
Nothing but cash. Give me some dead guys, okay? Don't even want no. Give me money, man.
Yeah, you got to have it tangible.
Absolutely.
Dogecoin, no Bitcoin, nothing like that.
None of that shit. Real coin.
Real.
That's the coin I want.
And you want the paper statement mailed to you?
Shit, I already paid me in all quarters before I take Bitcoin.
Are you serious?
Or crypto, or whatever you call it. Yeah, man. Nah.
NFTs. Give me a prediction for the Giants game against Washington. I said they're a dog at home, and I don't know how the weather is going to be.
I say the Giants by 6.
What are you thinking? Like
Just drop the last 2. I think they need to win.
Oh no,
They need to win. They need to beat Washington. They need to beat Washington twice.
And then they have the Eagles in between.
Yeah, you need to beat Washington. You need to beat Washington twice since you lost to Dallas twice. You need to beat Washington twice. You need to find a way to split with the Eagles.
And they still have Minnesota and Indianapolis. So 3-3, 10 wins, I believe, gets you in the playoffs.
Yes.
And if it would set up right now, if the seeding is, they would play San Francisco.
which is a game that's very winnable for the Giants. Because I think San Francisco has great defense. Like, don't get me wrong, right? A great defense, but the Giants are so ugly offensively. They win so ugly offensively. I don't think their defense matters.
I think you got to score some points, man.
You got to score some
Problem
points.
You're relying on Jones to try to hit targets that are not there, and Saquon.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't expect him to run the ball 35 times again. I mean, I don't think their offense is built like that.
I agree.
That's the problem. Let me ask you this before I let you get out of here. How big of a disappointment will it be if Odell doesn't sign with the Giants?
It won't be a big disappointment. I mean, the guys toward the end of his career who still can play. He got a Super Bowl already. He didn't go out of the game like he wanted to.
Right.
And he's only looking to go to a team that's going to be contenders. I mean, I can't blame him there. And it'll be a big disappointment for us as Giant fans who would love to see him back in Big Blue, who love to come, who would love him to come be a part of something that he's actually needed for a team that needs him. But you can't be mad at him if he chose to go otherwise. He chose to go other because he want to compete. He want to be there. He want to go to a contending team.
Yeah, I think it's the fans that are just he's going to make the best decision. That's for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think anything's wrong with that.
I have to, I got to find this. I have to find, I'm looking at your mentions.
What mention? What I do now?
Nah, it was just from the other day. I had to go back and see your oh my God, you're funny. Some of these guys that are in your mentions, I'm like, come on, man.
I have fun with people on Twitter, man.
You do. No, you definitely
fun with people on Twitter.
No, you definitely do. It's just funny. Can you suit up for the G-Men again? We need to recreate Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah, the Giants. If I can help the Giants win, they're in trouble. They're that bad.
What about 12 wins?
I'm saying if I could suit up and help them, they're that bad.
Oh, then that's
where I need to be.
Fair enough. Fair point.
That's what I mean. But regardless of what, it's always Big Blue.
There you go. All right, we'll start wrapping up. We'll get into
always Big Blue, man. Everything around me.
All Big Blue. We'll get into a lot more boxing next week, man, because we got some good fights coming up. So we'll start to break down some of these divisions, and we'll see if we can get our guy Hammer hands on. But as always, appreciate everyone keeping us locked in. Keep the views coming, subscriptions. Check us out on Buzzsprout and everything. Big man, say what you have to say.
Hey, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week. It's Wednesday, midway through, hump day. Take it how you want it, but it's hump day. You either hump it or just realize you're in the middle of the week. But anyway, have great humanities. It's still the holidays. Happy holidays to everybody out there. Please, yes, sir, no, sir. Please and thank you. Hey, help a person out. Hold the door open for a person. Do what you got to do. Be a great person. Have good humanities. I say that every week. I live by it. I die by it. And that's the way I'm going to always be. And that's me. Good humanities will take you a long way. You guys be good. I love you. I love each and every one of you. Happy holidays.
There you go. It's like a politician statement. Number 27. Big man.
Hey,
Brandon Jacob.
I feel like what I just said is better than Warnock and damn what's his name? Herschel.
Oh, Herschel Walker.
Yeah.
You're funny, man.
That is a downright shit show. You understand? A shit show.
You don't have to tell me. Yeah, no, I like the way you come off. That's a good politician speak. It's uplifting message, man.
Yeah, uplifting.
Sermons, preaching.
I'm not down talking to anyone, right? I'm not down talking to anyone. I don't need to worry about what this man got going on in order for me to make me a winner. Just be great.
That's all it is.
Okay to be great.
For the big man, 2-time Super Bowl champ, former great running back from the New York Football Giants, Brandon Jacobs. I'm Rich Quinones. Appreciate everyone keeping us locked into another edition of 27Q. Enjoy the boxing this weekend. Enjoy the football. Giants, Washington, go Giants. And as always, we will talk to you next week.
Peace out.